Okay. Um, I did my final capstone on both Rothko and Frankenthaler. I did two canvases. Um, One of them was a 24 by 30, and the other was 11 by 14, so a little smaller. Um, I mostly wanted to try color field because I was really, really into like some of them were like, kind of specific, like this red one here, where it's like not like very even, and then you have another Rothko over here where it's like very even stacked and very put together on purpose, a couple layers. I really, really liked how it seemed fun, and it seemed I had never really done anything like this because it seems very, very simple. And I was like, I don't know really how simple as could be. I was very wrong. I chose gray as mine, and I chose the colors before I chose the images I selected. So I was really happy with how it turned out and how they all kind of went together. Um, I really thought about Rothko's, like how he segmented his in the middle a lot of times and had it kind of like almost like a window frame. I really liked that. Just I don't know. I really like looking at his stuff and just how segmented they happen to be. And with Frankenthaler, I did a project on her. I really liked how she did her little pour techniques and um, it really got this color, like this blue here, just so pretty. I don't really know how she did that. Um, Her drip style paintings almost sometimes they kind of seem nautical to me with how like spread out they become with the ink or the paint. And that's why I chose a smaller one. I really wanted to kind of like test out, wanted to experiment a little bit with the small one. Um, Her color fields are a little less plain, I would say, than Rothko's. They have a bit more dimensions to them, but unlike Rothko, they're not really, based on being even sometimes. It's just very, it's fun looking. It's also easy and fun looking in a very different way, even though they're both color field. So this was my work here. I chose gray. Gray is one of my favorite colors. Um, I began and I wasn't really sure how I was gonna go about this gray color. And I continued. I was like, let's play this out. Let's see what's gonna happen. I really wasn't sure how well this was going to turn out. Um, and as I see here, I spliced it like Rothko did, just had that one line in the middle. I was like, is this, this good? And I said about it, had it in the corner of my room, and I kept looking at it because I was thinking maybe kind of redoing it. And then the more I looked at it, the more I thought like this, I keep looking at it and I keep wanting to stare at it. So I just put it in the corner of my room again, like in front of me, just to look at it. And I really do feel like I succeeded in that because I was able to just look at it. And that was what I wanted to do. I just wanted to see if I could just look at this painting of mine and not think that it's my painting, but just, get into a deep thought process I feel like Rothko really wanted people to do, where they just wanted to, I don't know, bask in it. Um, it's about three layers, a couple layers of like the first color and then the second color and a couple layers of the third color. It was really hard to cover this canvas. I really enjoyed having to go up and down with the brush. I've never done that before. This was a very new experience for me. Um, a similar work that Rothko did that I found after I did my painting was his Untitled Black and Gray. Uh, I really liked this one. I wish I was looking at something he did. I wasn't. I just had a picture in my mind because I didn't want to try and replicate something. I want to do something on my own without having to take directly from the original artist and feel like I ripped it off, I guess. Or I guess that's like artist plagiarism. I wanted to stay as far away with that as possible. And I found this after I did my painting and I really liked it. It's very subdued and I know like when I think of Rothko, I think of his iconic red painting. Um, and so this is like a complete opposite. I really want to do something opposite with it, and I'm happy to find out he also got dabbled in the opposite, and it doesn't really feel sad. It's like kind of like a void, like just sometimes you want to be in like a dark space and feel a little calmer, a little lowered. I think I really did nail it with the last one. here. It's very subdued. It's not too bright, but it's not too dark. I didn't want to really like overshadow the gray. I really wanted to make some of that pop. And I really do think that I succeeded in that. I look at his and um, I know that he didn't really specify on like being too even, but he wanted things to be in a certain balance when they were segregating. Like this red one here, like even though it's not as even, it still feels balanced. So I really wanted to try and nail that with mine. It's not as even, but it doesn't have to be, as long as like it feels as though the two halves are stacked or upon one each other. I thought I really did a good job on that, despite being dubious on it. And with the Karen Frankenthaler style of color paint, I had some blue and white and I mixed them up together in different shades. And I poured a light blue mixture over the top. I kind of let it set for a second and then I kind of stirred it around. And then I then put the blue on those two corners there and kind of just used a palette knife to kind of brush it aside. And then I had a brush and I kind of just did little waves with it. And I was a little worried this would be less abstract because it does kind of look like ocean waves. It was not my intention. But then I was like, I have this like I like to look at it. I really do. It's actually one of my favorite things I've ever made. And while these two weren't, I wouldn't say difficult to make, I had a hard time thinking like, is this going to fit in the parameters that I have? And that's why when I looked at the research to see like similar works to compare them to, I was um pleasantly surprised that I wasn't really too far off, even though I hadn't really like looked at it yet. Because again, I really wanted to keep myself away for a second so I can make my own artwork while also having in my mind what they looked like. Um, let's see. So this is Frankenthaler's similar work. She has a couple colors in there that I didn't use, but she has used some blue in there, and I really liked it because she also did little waves in there. Um, she had little wavy strokes. And the white space isn't completely covered up, but it's not like supposed to be. I really like that. It's almost um like drip painting, like drip of paints or like nail polish in water or alcohol, and the way they look like in that. That's what her paintings remind me of, like a super smooth, like um soft textured version of like ink in water and like a little ink blot, like a cute little ink blot. She has a quote here that I found where she says, "There are no rules. That is how art is born. That is how breakthroughs happen. Go against the rules or ignore the rules. That is what invention is about." I really like this because her paintings and like Rothko and her paintings feel expansive, and I said limitless. They feel very deep. Like with this one, I compare it to her blue one, where it feels very deep. That's not a horizon, but it almost feels like it. It's really cool how um color field is. It's so simple, like but it has such a dynamic like it blows my mind how the simple can just be mind blowing. Like, you can just look at this, and I mean, with hers, like there's things in here, there are elements different to Rothko's where you can like follow them. They're not lines per se, but there are elements in here like directions and shapes and like the way the ink has come down here or the splotches. Like there's always something like deeper to look at. It's almost like using a magnifying glass in your mind's eye. I just think that's so cool. Um, I just made a summary on Frankenthaler and Rothko. They were active around the same time. They were born about 20 years apart. They were really influential in the 50s with these expansive, like, bringing their abstract further into the abstract, which is where color field has come from. Um, they didn't want to stick with a conformed figure. They just kind of like for Rothko's case, I wrote here, he really wanted to like bring about like a balance and depth and contrast, shape, scale, broad space, and luminosity. But to achieve these very deep but subconscious emotions like ecstasy or tragedy or passion or excitement or sadness, something like that, something deep that we all know about. So it's basically putting together like balance could be tragic, or depth could be sadness. Like all these things that kind of like go together, like a little little lines crossing together. He never really wanted his work to, well, he never wanted his work for himself to be defined this way. He just really wanted his works to be uh well done. Like he put effort into this. He wanted people to know that even though it was very simple, they're also very large. They're much bigger than what I did. Um, he also wanted them to be like he wanted them to be very thought provoking, and so he reflected that. Where some of most of them are very like this is where he put those squares, this is where he put the line, and you can see the evenness in them that was done on purpose. And with Frankenthaler, she's kind of opposite in her abstract. She kind of just wanted to see how the colors worked, and her dilution sometimes made the paints pastelly, and it I feel like hers reflected her own moral theme. You know, I've read some of the things she said, and she was a very happy person. She was very bright and hopeful for the future. And it's like anything can be expanded, remade into something new. And that's really how art has been. And it kind of just sums up how art has shaped like pop culture, or pop culture has shaped art, and everything in between. And color field is a version of abstract that has just expanded into something that does seem easy and simple, which it is, but it also has all this dimension to it that is unexplainable. And that's when you know that the color field has succeeded, because it's not something that can be explained. It could be explained, but the artist wants you to explain it to yourself. So it's really hard for me to describe how I feel with like my own, because I don't want to have to try and define it other than I used colors that I really liked, that I like to put together. And I really feel like I succeeded in this, and I'm happy to have done it. Here are my works cited here. Had a couple of their biographies here that I took from a little bit, and then their arts. Thank you.